Hey guys, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to chapter 3, lesson 3 notes. Make sure it says multiplying at the top of your page. We're going to just jump through 3 quick definitions, but they will not feel super relevant till maybe later. First is a distributive property. So it means that if you have some number out front and you're multiplying 2 other numbers inside parentheses, then and these 2 other numbers are being added, you are allowed to say 5 times this whole chunk is the same thing as 5 times this guy. So 5 times the 2 first, and then add that to 5 times the second guy. 5 times the 3, okay? And they represent this in your textbook with letters. So 5, they just call some number. It works with any number out front. Multiplying, 2 numbers are being added inside, and they just give it they give it some other random letters to represent numbers in there, okay? And that's going to always equal you multiplying the outside by the inside one, and then adding it to the outside times the other inside one, okay? This is called the distributive property. And then the next one, multiplicative property of 0, means that any number you have, if you times that by 0, guess what you're going to get? 0. So they just represent this. It could be, this 5 can be any number out there. So instead of 5, they just write a letter to represent any number in the front. But if you like to see the 5 so you're not confused, you can just write it to the side. Okay, the last one is multiplicative identity property. So that means if you have a 1 multiplying by any number, say 5 again, then you're just going to get 5 back. Okay, and that 5 could be any number, so I'll use the letter A to represent that. 1 times any number A, we'll call it A, gives me that same number A back, okay? All right, shelf that there, leave it there for now, and then we're going to jump into multiplying now. So if you see the parentheses, sometimes they use dots between numbers. You guys are used to seeing in elementary school this little multiplication sign, but as you move into high school, they're going to use parentheses to represent that -7 is multiplying by the 5. And so the rules for multiplying and dividing are the same. It's really actually much easier than the adding and subtracting rules. So just put it off to the side here. Just make a bubble. So multiply and dividing rules are super easy if you have the same signs that you're multiplying. Then it's always going to be positive. The answer, the same signs being multiplied, always going to equal positive answer. So if you have like a negative times a negative, it's going to be positive. If you have a positive times a positive, it's going to be a positive. Any situation where you have the same signs, same thing added together, you're going to get positive, okay? And then if you have different signs, then you guessed it, you're going to have negative as your answer. So if you have a negative times a positive, you don't have to write these if you understand the big picture rule. You'll have a negative. If you have a positive times a negative, you're going to have a negative. Anytime that these two are different, you're going to get a negative answer. Okay? All right, now we come back to our problem. -7 and a +5 are going to be different signs. So I know that my answer has to be negative. Okay? A strategy is to go through on your test and go ahead and put in the negative or positive as your final answer, write it all in there and then come back and do the math so that you can make sure you did not forget the sign. So I'm going to stick a negative where my answer is going to be, because I know that the final answer has to be negative. And then I'm going to do the problem like normal. So multiplying and dividing, you're just going to do normal multiplying and dividing. Even if you have fractions or decimals, do it like normal. And then just stick the sign on at the end. So 7 times 5, I get 35. So my answer is negative 35. If you say you're going to come back and do the negative at the end, sometimes you forget. So I would go through and do it first. Okay, so this is actually, the way we just did it is using the multiplication rule. Okay. And then the number line, if you kind of want to see it, to kind of understand the why behind it, you can think about, okay, negative 7 times 5 is the same thing, because commutative property says I can write it in the oopsies. No, where did it go? There. Commutative means I can write multiplication in the order 5 times negative 7 as well, and it means the same thing. It doesn't matter if I take this and put it here or take it and put it here. They mean the same thing. So if I think about it like this, and I have 5 groups of negative 7. So negative 7 is here, 7 behind 0. And then if I do that 5 times negative 7, second one, third one, a fourth one, fifth one. If I have 5 groups of negative 7, copy and paste the negative 7 5 times, I land at negative 35. Okay, so that's a visual to kind of help you see the why behind it. And then let's go ahead and jump. I want you guys to do one example by yourself before you move on. So try negative 8 times negative 9. Go ahead and do it, and then unpause. Okay, welcome back. So I look at my numbers. They're the same signs. They're both negative. So my answer is going to be positive at the end. So I know at the end it's going to be positive. And you don't actually have to write the plus sign. So when you finish the problem out on the test, you can come and erase that positive. But it just tells you that you went through and already labeled everything. 8 times 9, 72. It's positive 72. So I take away the plus sign. Okay. All right. Next one. Submarine is diving from the surface of the water. And it's descending at a rate of 90 feet per minute. Descend 90 feet per, and then when it just says minute, you assume it's per every 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. And they're asking you to find the submarine location in feet after 11 minutes. So, let's see. Okay, so my plan, I am going to, because I want to find the total feet where it's at, I'm actually going to use multiplication and multiply like the rate times how long since the submarine started diving. And because it's descending, I have to think of this as a negative number. Okay, so 90 feet per minute is my rate, and then I'm going for 11 minutes. So if I multiply these two things, I'm going to find the total feet, like where I am below surface area. Below sea level. So negative 90 times 11. And then I'm going to use the same rules I just talked about. Look at the sign, because this one is negative and this one is positive. They have different signs. So I'm going to assume my final answer has to be negative, because different signs, the answer is always going to be negative. And then I just multiply the numbers like normal. And 90 times 11 gives you 990. So my final answer means that after 11 minutes, the location of the submarine will be 990 feet below the surface. Okay, last one here, evaluate means they want you to plug everything in and find the value. Evaluate A times B squared times C. So there's nothing written between them. You can assume everything's being multiplied. A times B squared times C when, and they give you all the values. So when A equals -5, B equals 4, and C equals -9. And my plan is to straight up plug in. Okay, I'm going to plug in. Okay, so I see that A shows up first. I'm going to try to match colors so you guys can see. B squared times C. Okay, I'm going to lasso this -5. It's the same thing as the A, so I'm literally going to swap it in for the A here. So I'm going to remove this A and put in the -5. Then I'm going to remove my B and put in my 4. Let me wrap it in some parentheses here to remember that this 2 up top, the power of 2, it's just for the 4. And then I'm going to take away the C and I'm going to plug in, oopsies, the number -9, swapping the C, swapping it out for the C. Okay, let me erase all this stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to use PEMDAS and just do it like normal. Okay, PEMDAS says you take care of the parentheses first. So inside the parentheses, if there's anything to add to the 4 or subtract to the 4, if it said like 4 minus 1, or there was some other kind of multiplication or division happening inside the parentheses, I would do it first. But there's not. It's just a 4. So I'm kind of done with that. Then I'm going to do exponents. So I see an exponent right here. I'm going to take care of that first. 4 to the power of 2 is 4 times 4, which gives me 16. So done. Let me drop it. Once I finish something, oh, this was being multiplied. I'm going to drop down everything else that I did not mess with. And the -9 is being multiplied because the C is being multiplied at the end. So make sure that you don't forget the parentheses. If you don't put parentheses on it, you're going to think that, like just now, I thought it was 16 minus 9, but it's not. Okay. And then multiplication and division happens next. So now I'm going to take care of that. So I'm going to go in order. -5 times 16 is what I'm going to focus on first. When I have 3 things, just focus on 2 things at a time. Okay? And then I see that they're different signs, so their answer is going to be negative. And then I just do the multiplication like normal. 16 times 5. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5. 6, 7, 8. So -80 is what I get for that black box. And then drop down what you did not mess with. A -9 is still out there trying to multiply with whatever I got for this part. And now I do the same thing again. I say, okay, these 2 things being multiplied, they're both the same signs. They're both negative. And I learned that negative times negative is going to give me a positive answer. My final answer is positive. And then I just multiply my numbers like normal. So 80 times 9, 9 times 0 is 0, 9 times 8 is 72, so I get 720. And I don't need to put a positive sign on it, even though I know it's positive, and you just stop right there. Okay? All right, please, please, please now go into your practice. It's part of your homework to do the video and to do the some practice problems now. I need you guys to work through I want you to do the odds. So this one, this one, this one, this one, all the odd numbers. Okay, and you can stop after 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's just 8 problems, not too bad. Okay, please get through it, and then I'll see you guys back.